Yo, what's up guys? Felix from Giant Lifestyle. In this video, I'm going to be sitting down with my buddy Allison. Allison is going to be showing us a very powerful software tool that can take your business to the next level. I'm also thinking about starting a series where I show you guys the different skills, tools, and things that come into play when building a successful business and being an entrepreneur. If you guys are interested in getting connected and working with Allison, check the link down below. There's a form that you can fill out, answer a few questions about you and your business. Again, thank you guys for watching. Put a thumbs up on it, subscribe if you're not, and let's get right into the video.
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Chicago, but I currently reside in Goodyear, Arizona, which is a suburb of Phoenix. And I'm the owner of the Prairie Group, and what we basically do is that we help small business to better run their operations through utilizing tools like Pipedrive, which is a CRM, other tools like Panadox, which is a quoting and invoice tool, and we combine those tools to give an overall better user experience.
Cool. So how exactly did, we work together, and what exactly did your company do for me? Because I'm still grateful to this day, because I was somebody that was pretty unorganized, even though I was doing very well in business. Basically, what did you do for me, and what did that look like?
Yeah, well, what we basically did, Felix, we just sat down, and instead of us trying to tell you how to run your business, which you know absolutely nothing about, we sat down and we took a look at how could we help you become more effective, right? And so we sat down, we started having a series of conversations about a day in the life of Felix, right? How do you interact with your customers? How do you keep track of things? How do you manage your calendars? And it was a 30-day process initially, and we would talk a few times a week at first. There were a few aha moments for you in terms of figuring out what the tool can actually do for you.
Yeah.
And then from there, we started fine-tuning it, and it became a very resourceful tool for you.
Yeah, I've actually noticed that, because I was somebody who used a bunch of these customer relationship managers, and just like you said, and we were saying, before we turn the cameras on, is that a lot of people start these and they never actually get the full effect. Is that something that you usually see, like people just go back to using Excel, or you go back to writing everything down on paper?
Absolutely. And the reason behind that, and for those of you who've been in this experience before, don't feel bad. And I'm going to tell you why. If you look at statistics, over 70% of people who enter into a CRM scenario, they fail.
Yeah.
And the reason why they fail is because it's not what you do. And so it's just like me trying to become a surgeon, right? It's not what I do. And so what we do is that we sit down with our customers, we understand what they're trying to accomplish, and we tailor the tool to them versus the other way around. Because when you typically get a CRM, you'll look at the finished product, but you don't look at what you have to do to get there. So we take that away from you. Our onboarding process is like with Felix, we worked with him. It was 30 days, and we met weekly. And there were different assignments we had to do, and he was pretty good about that stuff, and he had a few aha moments, because if it were going to be on Thursday, when Wednesday pops around, he knew he was behind, but we were able to catch up on it. And one of the things we do too is that we work with our customers for a minimum of 12 weeks. And the reason why we do that, it takes 12 good weeks to build a new habit. Yep. We want it to be a good user experience for you guys.
Cool. Can you take us maybe inside of Pipedrive and just show us some things that, really just make this CRM, maybe better than the other ones, and just show maybe somebody the power of it, and then we'll jump into some things like maybe a few tips you can give somebody?
Absolutely. Give me 1 second, and let me begin the process of sharing my screen.
Because I could tell you one thing, like we were saying before we turn the cameras on, is that everything is linked. Because sometimes I'm using the mobile app, and sometimes I'm home on my computer, and if I do something on my computer, it links to my app, and if I do something on my app, it links to my computer. So that's a pretty cool feature that I do like.
Absolutely. All right, so give me 1 second and let me start the sharing process, and I'll take you guys there. Okay, so if you can see my screen, Felix, let me know.
Yep, I could see it.
So right now we are inside of Pipedrive, and the way that Pipedrive is set up is it sets up what we call tiles, right? What I mean by that is that think of a traffic light. So you have red, yellow, and green. So in this case here, these are the tabs or the things I should have done it already, but I haven't. So if these pop up first, you show me that I'm behind. inside of Pipedrive, you have various stages. So here's the lead-in stage. It's kind of like how you deal with your customers, right? I got the lead, I made the contact, the prospect is qualified, their needs have been defined, proposal made, and negotiation started. So each one of these can be a stage of the sales process. It could be the stages of an interview process. It could be the stage of a customer service process. When you open up a deal, as I'm about to show you guys now, you go from the tile mode to the actual inside of a deal mode. So one of the things that you get out of here, one of the benefits, is that it keeps a chronological scenario of each and every contact you've had with this particular individual. So as opposed to you trying to find your notepad from 6 or 7 months ago, your Excel spreadsheet you forgot the name of, it keeps everything here in what we call a single pane of glass. As you can tell here, I started working with this individual April 8th, 7 months ago. So each and every correspondence that we've had since April 8th is captured right here. Now, in this case here, you would take a look and say, well, what does this really mean, right? I see all of this stuff here, but what is it? Well, what it basically is that it collapses it to give you space and time. So if I were to open this up, it's going to actually show me the actual conversation. So on April 27th, I sent an individual a link, and it captured the link right here. When you start seeing things, and I'm going to give you a great example, you start seeing like a paperclip, that's typically an attachment that I sent out. So the case here, May 3rd, 6 months ago, I sent out this attachment. Here's the email, and I'm going to let it finish opening because it's circling right now. So sometimes you have to be a little bit patient with technology.
Yeah, but it basically shows you your history from the time you first made contact to all the way up until you close the deal.
Exactly, and it's all consolidated for you. And just for the sake of time, Felix, I'm going to show you guys this here so that you guys just have the gist of your, for lack of better terms, file cabinet, right? So we start going up here and take a look at your activities. Here's the activity screen, and you can get the activities from here, or get the activities on the side over here, right? So I like to work my view inside of the deal. If I wanted to set up a new meeting, I would just click right here. The meeting icon becomes highlighted. I can click right here, and now I've set up a meeting. I can put the meeting topic right here, meet with Felix. And guess what? My meeting's been set up. I know the date and the time, everything's already right here, and it would now track that. If I wanted to have a note about this meeting, I could just type it right here. Pipedrive overview. So now, in a matter of seconds, we created a meeting and we've given it a note. And now it's just a matter of just saying, save it, which we just did. So there's no running around trying to go back and forth in terms of your meeting, right?
Yeah.
You also have calls, you have email, and I think this is something that I don't want to get too deep into the program. I do want to show you guys this feature right here real quick. As far as the email feature, sometimes it's difficult for you to get in touch with customers and have set up a meeting, right? So if there's a subject matter that we want to have to talk to the customer about, why don't we just set this up as a template? And we can do it like this. It takes the field right here. So now we see that we've sent this out to Sharon. It populates her names. We can have your features and benefits where everything's going to go in here. So guess what? Now we need to figure out, okay, what time can we connect with this person on, right? So why don't we just do it like this? Let's stop and let's propose times, okay? So I can go right here. I can say propose times. All right, I can say, all right, let's say manage availability. Now I can create new availability. And I can say, you know what, I'm available on Tuesday, available on Thursday. I can put the time in there. I can take a meeting deep. Let's go back. I need to save it. Let's save. Now I can continue the meeting details.
And email that right to her.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
And the beauty of it, when I hit share, Felix, what it does here is I can insert into email.
Now she could
Book
come
a
back
time
and
right
book the
here.
time, and it'll pop up inside of your Pipe Drive account.
Yes, and it will ask whatever time that she puts on there, it's going to actually populate on my calendar. So
Wow.
now there's no going back and forth, right? And so it's really good for a couple things. One, keeping track of things. Two, if there are things you have to do over and over again, we can actually automate that.
Yeah.
Things called workflow automations to take that repetitive thing away from and let you do what you do best. Let's manage your business.
Cool. Now, in your opinion, does this work for any kind of business? Because as you know, I have a lot of people that I show the business of buying and reselling like diabetic commodities where they have a lot of follow-up business to do. Does this work for not only a business like that, maybe say a lawn care business or a auto mechanic? Does this work for anybody?
Yes, and the reason why I said it, it really depends on how we set it up, right? So let me give you just a quick 2 minute overview. So I worked with someone here who wanted to interview people. So we took this and we made it into an HR system. They had sole proprietors, they had 270 applicants. And so what we did, we brought them all in. We had a series of questions that we put in there. We combined these along with the templates, and we were able to send out group emails, and it went out to these people's database. Their responses came in. So we had one for, how's your internet? Tell me about your work history. Give me a lead gen. How much are you looking to make? Then we had interview, offer from prospects. And then when it was time for us to send out a offer letter, we were able to take this program, combine it with another program by the name of Panadox, able to send out an offer letter, get an e-signature in a matter of seconds.
Wow.
So what it comes down to, Felix, it comes down to us sitting down as the query group, having a conversation, and figuring out how to best tailor this towards the individual's needs. Because again, we do customized solutions. One solution does not fit all. And that's the beauty of sitting down and talking to people to understand what they're trying to accomplish.
I got you. Now, obviously, you would be looking for, you'd be interested in seeing how you could help maybe some of my audience get hooked up with a viable CRM. But for someone that kind of just wants to take it on their own and go ahead and, get hooked up with Pipe Drive, just maybe one piece of advice. Is there one thing that you could recommend for as far as how they could succeed with this type of service or piece of software?
Yeah, you know what? I would say, here's the thing with this, right? It's going to boil down to consistency. And when I say without consistency, it's new behavior.
Yeah.
So if I were to start going to the gym, or I wanted to try and run a mile, I'm not going to be able to run that mile if I have not walked 3 blocks lately, right? So you have to be consistent and build up. Now, what I would say is, if you want to try going on your own, you can try it, but I think the odds are going to be against you. And the reason why I think that, I believe that, right, is because the 70% of people who fail are trying to do it on their own, right?
Yeah.
We try and make our wage worse affordable for people to try and do it.
Yeah.
Right? And we work with people. This is all about building new habits. And let's look at it like this. If we can take this solution and we could help you get your return on your investment back in less than 2 months.
Yeah.
And now you have a system that you can use for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not want to invest in yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember because like I said, I was saying before, I was so unorganized. I had stuff written down on pieces of paper. Now, while I still use pieces of paper to, gather ideas or, write certain things down, little, quick to-do lists, everything I have is inside of my Pipe Drive, my day-to-day calendar, my week calendar, my month calendar, what I'm doing for my leads, tracking my sales and stuff. But I remember, I think I hooked up with, Salesforce once. I hooked up with another one. And it wasn't until you showed me how I can really track leads. This person's on follow-up. This one talked to in 2 weeks. This is just a lead in. This is a contact I still have to make. Is when it really clicked about how much I could really take advantage of every lead. I finally feel like if I don't convert that lead, at least I exhausted all efforts. And I feel like probably a lot of people, would you agree that, probably aren't exhausting all efforts to their business because they're not, they don't see it all in one location?
Yeah, and that also, I mean, let's just be candid. I mean, when you are a business owner, there are so many things you have to do during the course of the day,
Yeah.
right? And that's not even counting. I mean, you have to do sales, marketing, you have to do social media, you have to be, I mean, you have to be everything, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? If you're not converting sales, you're out of business.
Yep.
So why would you not want to use a tool to help you convert business, right? I
Yep.
mean, if I would ask the average business owner, all right, how could you get yourself a 25% raise in December? They wouldn't know. I mean, wouldn't it be great to have that information readily at your fingertips where you could say, you know what? Last December, I did 100,000,
Yep.
and this is how I did it.
Mm-hmm.
This December, I'm going to do 125,000. Wouldn't that be nice to have that at a click of at a click of a button?
Yep. Yep.
And the person's going to try and do it on his own. They can figure that out. But what are they losing trying to figure that out?
Yeah. They want to. I know what I was trying to figure. Want to rip my hair out. So I'm not gonna keep you too long, Allison. I just wanted you to come on my channel to really show
Okay.
people what's the possibility with a system like this, because I think a lot of people, especially in the business that I'm doing of reselling diabetic commodities, I know a lot of people have follow-ups, and I bet a lot of them are using something like Google Excel sheets, and what you just think Google Excel sheets is just no way to, you really, what's, if you had to pinpoint one problem or compare that to Pipedrive, what would you say as far as, Google Excel sheets to Pipedrive?
I would say, look, everything has its place,
Yeah.
right? When I love Excel, but I use Excel for math, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what Excel was designed for.
Yeah.
When I want to track my customers, I'm going to use a tool that allows me to track my customers.
Mm-hmm.
Because Excel is not going to have a calendar. It's not going to have activities. It's not going to have workflow automation. But on the same note, Pipedrive does not have formulas I can manipulate, right? It doesn't have tables and rows. So use what things were built for, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with Google Sheets. I mean, it has its place, but it's not a CRM. It's just not.
Cool, cool, cool. So, and then any other last pieces of motivation you can give anybody? And like I said, is there any thing that kind of sticks your guys' company out from the rest?
Yeah, I would say a few things, and that's that Pipedrive was built by salespeople for salespeople. That's number one. Two, what we bring to the organization as far as the Prairie Group is that we have over 75 years of experience in sales and operations, right? So we can sit down with you, and odds are there can be very few things you're going to bring across to us we've not seen. So we know what we're doing is what I'm basically trying to say.
Cool.
And then three, stick with what you know how to do best. I mean, if your job is to sell software, be a software salesperson. Don't try and do the CRM stuff because it's going to take too much of your time. You're going to lose money and time.
Yeah. Stick to your strengths. Totally agree. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for staying and watching the video. Thank you, Allison, for joining me on the channel. And we'll see you in the next video.
All right. Thanks, Felix.
Thank you.